Welcome to Spy Money. Sorry about that, I had audio issue. We are going to talk about TradingView and some charts. I've been going back and forth. Thinkorswim platform has actually been pretty decent. It today was horrible. It was very lagging. I couldn't even hardly get my trades off. I had some future option trades going today, and by the time I could actually get through the clicks to make it work, it had already reversed on me. So I ended up holding it through the chop today, and I sold gold at the end of the day, GC. I sold it at the end of the day, and honestly, I think I only made like $20 on it. It wasn't anything. And I was up around $100 or so on that one trade, which I was doing small trades on it, just mainly because TOS was so glitchy. But anyway, so I've been using TradingView quite a bit, and by doing the TradingView, I'm able to publish a chart and show, put it on Twitter, which has been very good for a lot of people. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/SpyMoneyLLC, and I'll try to get that in the description. I don't have that in there, but I'll get that in there so you can click on it and follow. That way, every time I post a chart, you'll get it. So let's get started. If you all have any tickers that you are in question about, let me know. I'm not going to do 100 of them, but if you got a couple pretty normal ones, we can do one. We can chart one out. This is Tesla. Most of y'all trade Tesla. I know Lewis in the group trades Tesla nonstop and has made a fortune off of Tesla. He's done very, very well. What we have is a symmetrical triangle. On Wednesday, I called out that we were about ready to turn into another bear move, just like I did on September 2nd. September 2nd was here, and we had talked about getting out. Actually, that's not September 2nd. Where is September 2nd? Right here. It's actually right there. So I was talking about on September the 2nd that we're getting ready to turn into a bear market, and we ended up doing it, and we sold off. We ended up coming back up. And then this past Wednesday, which was, what is that? That's the 30th, okay? So on the 30th, which would have been right along through here, we were talking about, I thought it was going to turn into a bear move. I was one day early on it. We ended up, yesterday, we went up quite a bit. I thought I just misread the charts, but then last night we ended up selling off a lot. So a lot of people want to blame the sell-off on Trump, but as you can see here, this symmetrical triangle says otherwise. It was obvious it was going to sell off here. So on Wednesday, I bought puts on it. I had calls on this part, and then I bought puts here, and I'm going to hold those calls. It'll probably be Monday or Tuesday when this thing comes down to touch off here. If it's close on Monday, I'm going to go ahead and sell them, and then I'll get into some calls and write it back up. Once it comes down to along this area, we are going to be looking, it's actually a little too big. We're going to be right along this area here. There's a chance we might come on over, so because we have that fib line there, so there's a good chance we might actually come right over into here. We might just kind of pull up a little bit and just kind of chop over and get to there. So that's probably where we're going to be, is right in this area. And then at that point, then we should start coming up. I don't know. I really don't think that it will come down and touch it again. I think when we bounce off of this, I think that is going to be long calls. And that's what I will plan on doing. So when we look at this a little bit closer, and if you hear those motorcycles in the background, sorry, it is bike week here. I live down close to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the motorcycles are roaring. I miss my motorcycle. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. But as you can see, Tesla has been following this channel pretty good. And it come over and it's just gradually went right on up through there. It bumped up, hit it, come right back down. We come up, we've been chopping over here. As soon as we get over, it's going to take off up through here. Where's it going to go? A lot of people ask that. Well, no one really knows for sure where a stock is going to go. The only thing we can do is take a educated, I guess, guess really. Actually, that's the wrong way. If we do from here to there, more than likely we are going to be, and see, that puts it right up to the 50% and the 6/1/8 right there. So long term, I think this is where we're going to be, somewhere along through here. It's really going to kind of determine on what goes on down here, if it takes off here or if it comes over here. This could easily finish that out. They could bounce down here, come up, bounce down again, and then take off. And honestly, that looks more realistic. So it looks like we're going to chop right here quite a bit. So instead of doing long calls on it, you may want to do just scalping through here. This is on a, what is this? This is a 4-hour chart. But if you do some scalping in here, you're probably going to be better off unless you want to just go long on it. And if you come down here and buy long, then this is going to be your better entry than if you try to buy up here, because when it starts coming back down, it's going to get you. But if you buy down on through here, then it's going to be better. So for Tesla, that is where I think we will be and why I think we'll be. And to know how to do all this stuff, we have I have a charting course on my website, SpyMoneyLLC.com. Take that and I teach you how to do the fibs, the channels, trend lines, everything. So that's the courses aren't very much. So if you're interested in that, just click on the link down in the description and you can sign up for a course. The courses aren't very long. They are little short videos. I'm showing exactly what to do. I don't take some courses you get in and it's a 4-hour video. I don't do that. I try to keep everything 15-20 minutes in a video. People's attention can't stay there. I know mine can't. So let's look at the dollar. I know a lot of y'all don't even look at the dollar. The DXY. This will tell you a lot about the market, what's going on. The big old bull run we had, look right here. See how this is selling off? When the US dollar goes down, the market goes up. Well, as you can see right here, we have been going up for the last little bit. A lot of chop in there, but we've been going up. And the market has been continually going down for the last month. If you look at this, we got September 1st right there. I called out on September 2nd that we were going to reverse. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the dollar to see what it's doing as well. So I don't look at just ES or NQ or nothing like that. I look at a lot of different variables. I look at what the bonds are doing. I look at what VIX is doing. I look at the dollar. I look at what ES. I look at all the charts. So I'm looking at all this stuff every day. And that's how I'm able to almost pinpoint to the day when there's a market reverse. I'm not always right, by no means. I'm not a crystal ball reader or nothing like that. But what I do is I'm in the charts all day long and even at night. It's just me and my wife here. My daughter's already at school and college. So, while we're down there and I'm sitting with her and she's watching a movie, I'm usually got my iPad out and I'm looking at charts. I'm reading. I'm always studying. And that's how you become a successful trader. You can't do this part-time. You need to eat, sleep, and breathe these charts. You got to know them. You got to know what it's doing. And that way, when another chart is doing something, you can reflect back on what this one's doing. So right now, we're in this channel, and we're going up and down in through here. Our next stop is going to be right on through here. Okay, so that's around 95.50 or so. And by getting up to here, when you look at, we have our support and resistance lines here. So this is actually probably going to be just a little bit more. Let's see here. There. No, don't want to move that one. See if we can get this moved up to, it's probably going to be, it's probably right out of that fib. So we're going to move this up there. So it's probably going to be a little bit longer up than what these two are. And when we look at that, we can see that we have a support here. We have resistance there. We have support over here. And if we come on back, you can see it goes all the way back through here. So this fib is a very good, solid fib. So that's probably where we're going to be. Now, because of that, what's all this mean? What's it mean to the market? Well, the market is going to do the opposite of what the US dollar does. And yeah, Lewis, you're right. TV, watching the news is just ridiculous. We read the charts on Wednesday, knew what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden Trump gets COVID, and they freak out and say that's why the market reversed, and that is not it at all. Trump had nothing to do with this market doing what it did. As soon as the market starts moving, they tell the news media to come up with something to justify why the market moved, because people live in fear, so they need to know a reason. Well, really, it's all about charting. If you chart your stuff correctly, then you're going to know what the news is going to be, pretty much. So right now, the U.S. dollar is going to be going up. Now, what's that mean? Like, I do Forex trading as well. So I was doing the Euro USD. That's EUR USD. Now, I was long on it, and I picked up about 100 points on that. Well, right now, the U.S. dollar is reversing. We've been in this little bit of a consolidation period here. So if we look at a 1-hour chart, and then come back to it, see all this chop? Well, that is where you don't trade. This is a 1-hour chart. So now that we've found our bottom and we started coming up, now's the time to short Euro USD. So by shorting it, now since the USD is going up, you start shorting it, then I can make another, probably, I don't know, if I stay in it long, I could probably pick up maybe 800 pips, which is really good money, depending on how much money you put in the market. And I'm not teaching Forex on here, but this will just let you know that anything you put up against the dollar is going to be going up. So it depends on if you're a Forex trader or not. You'll know what I'm talking about. But pips is good money. And you can usually make, depending on how much money you put in, I'll usually do $30,000 trade or so on the this, and that'll bring you usually about $3-4 a pip, somewhere on through there, depending on which one you do. So when you trade against the dollar, that's what you want. All right, so now you understand where I'm getting some of my information. So by seeing that the dollar is now, since we've had this pullback here, and now we're going to start going up, that tells me the market's going to drop. Okay, now that's not to say that the dollar won't drop out right here, but based on these moves up here, it's time for the dollar to start going back up. It come all the way down. But again, it could drop out this right here, and if it does, the market's going to go up. But with having the election coming up, there's a lot of things unsettled, the stimulus package and so forth, the way the charting looks. I'm inclined to believe that the dollar is going to continue to go up. NG. So NG is natural gas. A lot of people, you hear people talking about UGAS and DGAS and all that. I don't trade all those. I trade the big boy, the natural gas, NG. So right now we had a gap fill, and I did not miss this, and I had calls on natural gas, and I messed up. So I took a loss on this right here. And what it was, I did not see this gap. The gap was, let me get a closer view of that. This thing gapped up, and I have no idea why I did not see that. But you had a wick right there, and you had a wick right here. This is a gap fill. So it has to fill it. So there's orders here, and the market will not just keep on going without filling those orders. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to pull back immediately. Sometimes it'll go way up here, and then it will pull down and grab those and then take off. It can be sometimes a month, but it will come back and get those. So right now, we are right there on that wick. So this one picked up the orders right through here. Okay, so these three red candles pick that up. But we've still got this candle here at the top of the wick. So we've still got this area that is a gap that needs filled. So let me put this over here so you can see it better. And then I will do a, there we go. So now we've got this gap that we still need to fill. So natural gas will end up pulling back, and it's going to go ahead and pull back, and it may pull back to just right here and then start reversing. Okay, So if you're playing in the ETF is UNG, and if you're playing UNG in an equity, then you can go ahead and I would not buy puts yet because this may reverse immediately. I mean, all this has to do is just pop down and then take off. So when it does that, I would get in UNG long. This is the area that I think that it's going to go to. So based on the past chart and stuff, when I look at this past chart and I see everything, that's where I think it's going to go. Now, I had this one drawn out because I thought that before it gapped up, I thought it may go ahead and come down here, but then it just gapped up. So by gapping up, that took this out. So actually, we can take this one completely out because I don't believe that's where it's coming. I believe it's going to go ahead and just it's going to come down probably around through here, and then it's going to take off up. That's what I think is going to happen. Could be wrong, but that's what I think. So like I said, UNG is the ETF, and I play NG, which is the future. So that'll help you out. Then we have ES. ES is a lot going on. We had this descending wedge. And so with it coming down and the way it was playing in, and we had this little zone area here. And then we also had, let me get this in a 4-hour chart because you can see it better. There we go. Okay. So right now we've come down and we bounced out of here. We come out and then we raised up. This was the start of the left shoulder. And then we come back down and then we had our head come down. And now we're up here again. This is why I think it's going to sell off. We've got the head and shoulders that puts the perfect pattern in play. And then we've got the rest of the chart with the way you do all this back here. And that will put, this is like a 2 legs. So you got one leg here. And then we put that other leg here and it puts right on that fib. If we come back and look, we can see that fib is right on that support. A support resistance line, depending on which way you're coming from. And so it's going to be a support line here. And that lines up perfectly with this 2 leg. So that tells me that we're going to go ahead and pull back, and we're going to have a sell-off down to the 3,000 range. So we're on through there. 3,005 is the fib. So somewhere in that area. This fib is not a perfect number. It's an area that we're going to go. So just because we come down don't mean we have to touch it, and doesn't mean we won't stop. It may come down to right here and then come back up. But by looking over here, looks like maybe 29.85. That's where it came down before. So, I mean, we could possibly come down to 29.85. I think we will come through it. And when we come through it a little bit, it'll just be a fraction. So if you just remember 3,000, I believe that's where we're going to be. Again, this is my opinion. It may not. Come Sunday, this thing may gap up and take off. But all we can do is take the information that we get from the charts and try to analyze it the best we can to where we can, make an educated guess of which way we're going to go. Now, by looking at this, there's a lot going on here. So you had your descending wedge pattern, and it come out of it like it usually does. And when it come out, then we had this head and shoulders, and the head and shoulders usually says sell off. So that says sell off. Usually when you come out of a descending wedge pattern like this, it will pop up, and a lot of times it will just drop out. That's a lot of times it'll happen, but it will go up for a little while. But we've also got this 2 leg in there. And this 2 leg lines up perfectly with the fib and all of our support and resistance lines. So this is, in my opinion, this is where it's going to go. But again, we could gap up here. Do I have money on this? I got money on this drop right here. Yes. I've got puts on ES. I didn't play them on SPY. I played them on ES. That way I can trade them at night. So Sunday, if we gap up, I can get out of that trade and not lose a bunch of money. Whereas if I was in SPY, I'd have to wait till the next day. That's why I trade future options. That way I can trade it in the evenings and at night in case something happens. Last night, I got in a trade last night. It was an ES put, and the news come out about Trump, and that thing tanked. It was around 1:30 in the morning, and I was holding my phone in my bed just trying to stay awake because I knew something was getting ready to happen. I thought it was going to be probably the European market at 3 o'clock, but luckily it happened sooner, and I was able to get out of it. Now with future options, you can't set stops and stuff like you do on equity options. So you've got to be there. You got to be watching it. You can set your limit, but you can't set a stop on it. At least I can on mine. So there's ES, which is SPY. SPY is the same chart. It's exactly the same. I chart ES because it runs all the time. SPY is real glitchy after hours. So if you're going to trade it, you're better off to trade ES and then go from there. If you trade ES, if you think about it, if it's 3,400, that means SPY is about 340, 341, somewhere on through there. So if you just take away a 0, then that will give you your SPY number. Pretty close. And then we have NQ. NQ, which is NASDAQ, actually laid out exactly the same. Let's let me put this, it's on daily. This is the big drop we had in February, and it lines up perfectly with where this could possibly pull back to. NQ and ES run about the same. NQ is a higher percentage, but they basically go the same direction. NQ will usually run off and leave ES, but ES will eventually catch up. So we have this channel in here. We've got our trend here. And, our trend from down here is the same as there. So there's our 2 leg there. And then we've got 1 leg here. And stocks like to run in 2 legs. So if we're running in 2 legs, sorry about that. If we're running in 2 legs, this will be our second leg, which will put us right on that fib line and the channel. So I think this will probably, come on down. Now, it's not going to just drop straight down. It's going to look like this going up and down. Now, this is the daily chart. So if you get in puts right here, which I did, then this should, it might have a little pullback on Sunday and then come right back down, and it'll just keep on going zigzag back and forth until it gets down here. Then again, it could do this overnight. Now, if we look at this pattern, that's on September the 2nd, and that puts us on September 20th, and that's 18 days. That's about how long that this one took. Okay, so there's September 2nd, and right here is the 21st, so that's 19 days. So you got 19 days there. That will put us about 18 days here, so it's the same time frame even as this first leg here. So that is how I've got everything laid out. I think that is the direction we're going to go. I believe that this is where we're going to go. Now, that's not to say we don't bounce off of this center line here and then take off. That's not to say we don't. But everything I've got laid out says exactly this. We have the dollar going the direction it's going. We have this, everything lines up to this. So that's how I get what I do. So on this one is your silver. I'm long on silver. I've already got calls on silver. And there was Brian today in the Discord. He bought silver as well. Caught that. I wasn't real sure about what it was doing because we have this little, it's actually more of a flag or a pennant. Let me pull this up to a 1 hour. So when we get to a 1 hour, we can see that we have a pennant. So we've got from, actually, let's see here, right there down to here, and then we've got another one that is coming all the way from down here to right there. So we've got this pennant. It's a symmetrical triangle. I'm sorry. We got a symmetrical triangle. And it looks like it's trying to come out of the bottom here, but I think today was the last day to buy calls on this. I think it's probably just going to take off. Now there is a chance that this may go ahead and come down and touch this again, and then take off. But I think that we're probably going to bounce out of this and just keep right on going. That's my opinion, based on how this is all laid out. There is a type of head and shoulders here that I will not count because it's already passed away from it. But if you go there, go to here, there. So let me move this down. There we go. So this could come right on down and sell off to right here. There's a chance, but I think we're probably going to keep on going. So on this one right here, we do have that head and shoulder pattern going on, and it will, possibly come on down. So you guys that are watching that use Thinkorswim, now you understand why I like the charting better on TradingView. It is just so much better. You can't draw this stuff on TOS like you can here. It takes a little bit of learning curve to get your symbols and everything in and everything done. And I pay for this when I do the Pro course, which is $30 a month. And I like it real well. You can do screenshots. So if you click on that little camera, you can copy this. You can just send it to a tweet only. So if I want to tweet this one right here, then I can go ahead and tweet it and send it. So now that one's already posted. So that's how I'm actually sending my Twitter feeds and stuff. That's how I'm getting them there. You can also publish it. So there is a online part that you can put on here, and you can post it on StockTwits and Twitter, and I'll put it on both of those as well. This is the way I do it. I do it through the publish. You only allow like 10, I think it's 10 a day. At first I was posting quite a bit, but now I'm just sticking to mainly the futures and a few equities. So there's your silver. Now let's talk about gold. So gold is usually gold and silver will run together. And this one's really kind of got me a little bit. Part of me thinks it's going to come down here, but then part of me thinks it's just going to keep on going. And the reason I say that is because of silver. Silver and gold, like I said, typically run together. So we look at this one. We come back over here, and let me get this back on a daily too. All right, so look at that one there, and then we're going to switch back to the silver, or to the gold. And they're different, but they're kind of close, okay? The gold shot way up. Now that's a 4 hour. Let me go to a 1 day. Let's make this the way it's supposed to be. So you got this went up, we've consolidated, and then we dropped out and we bumped up, okay? So this one, we come up, consolidated, dropped out. Now, going by this chart, it should go right on up, okay? But if we look at the gold chart, it could come down to here. So, this chart is on gold. Gold just shot way over. It went completely over top of this. If we look at a weekly chart, let's see. So we see the weekly chart. This, I don't count that as a trend line because there's only 2 touches there. But this bottom one is a trend line, okay? So when we look at the bottom one, that one's spot on. But this top one, unless we get a third one, I do not count it. I like to have 3 touches, significant touches, before I'll consider. And I'm not talking a touch here and a touch there. I like to have a touch back in here somewhere. So we got kind of 3 equal amounts or so. That's kind of what I like. So because of this, I can't really count that one as a touch on it. So if we come back to the daily could easily pull back to here and then take off because we never come back and touch this channel. But this channel it's a good channel, but up here it got kind of messed up because it overshot the channel. But that doesn't mean the channel's bad. It's weaker, but it still could be. And with this coming down the way it's doing, part of me thinks it's just going to come down into this area. We'll have to wait and see. I had gold puts today, and I sold them because I wasn't sure about this right here. This could easily take off, and when gold takes off, I mean it goes fast. So this could easily gap up to right here on Sunday and then just keep on running. And I was afraid of that because gold just would not let go today. It just wanted to. I mean, if we look at the 15-minute chart, see the 15-minute, it come down to the bottom of this channel and then popped right back up. So we closed, just above that. So I sold it right on through here. Is where I sold it. Matter of fact, I think I sold it on this bottom wick because I had my sale to where I could just get like $20. That would get me my commission and then just a little bit of lunch money. So I went ahead and just got out. It wasn't worth it to me to hold because I wasn't sure. Now with ES I did hold my puts here because I'm very confident that we're going to sell off. If we gap up on Sunday, then I'll just lose a little bit of money on it. I'll make up for it somewhere else. But I think that we are going to sell off. If we go back to the 15-minute on this one, and you can see that we were just pulling down pretty much all day. We just kept coming down. So from 9:30 we shot up and we come back down. I should have sold right here. I was up a couple $100, but the only problem is I couldn't get TOS to work today. It was just so lagging. And because of that, I didn't have my sell set, which I normally do, but I thought it was going to sell off all the way down to 3,300 today. That was my target. So when we look at this is where I thought we were going to be today at 3,300. That was where I thought the whole time. But when it opened, it actually shot up, and then it just pretty much ranged all day. I mean, look at this right here. This is the 15-minute chart, and I mean, it is hard to make money with options there. If you bought a put right here and you didn't sell it here, your value just, depending on your expiration, you're going to lose value. And then when you come back down, when it's here, you're not going to be as much money as if you'd have sold there. So that's the way options work. So that is what I think is going to happen, and that's why I think it. If you're not into charting, like I said, I have a course online. You go to SpyMoneyLLC.com. There's courses on charting, scalping. I have got a phenomenal scalping setup for Thinkorswim. And if you don't have the scalping course, if you know how to scalp, it's worth the money for the course just for the setup. It is brilliant. I love it. So if you're scalping SPY, I mean, it's just so easy. You don't have to move. It's just, you're not clicking a bunch of screens and everything. It is just the berries. I used it today scalping SPY a little bit, and I really like it. That's my best setup I've ever had. But we also talk about any kind of indicators, how to use them in order to scalp, when to get in, when to get out. There's a two-step scalp in there as well. So if you're trading future contracts, then there's two setups in there for one scalp, or one trend. We'll call it that. So that works pretty good. Does there anybody want any other ticker? I think Tesla's are biggie that most people want. There's a delay in YouTube, so I'll give you, I think it's 30 or 40 seconds. I've got several of them in here. I know that I come back into here. You have to open up each chart. You can't duplicate it. It just messes up for some reason. One I haven't done, it's not even in here. You want Apple. Okay, we can do Apple. I've got it up there too. Thanks, Lewis. Okay, so I don't have this one charted out, so let's just chart it real quick. So let's go back to the daily. Let's look and see what's going on. This is that big drop we had, and so if we come up and we put us a channel in here, and that would be about right there, and then we come there. Okay, so that really that hits right there, but usually it'll come down through here. This one didn't. If we do, I like that better. Yeah, that's better. And then That'll work right there. Actually, let's bring it down to right there. So what we did was we picked up the bottom of these and we picked up the top of these. And then we come up, we've got that one that was shot over a little bit, that's okay. And then as far as this one, we picked up right here and the body of that one. We come back, we picked up that wick and then the bodies of these. So that's a pretty good trend right there. Okay, so this one looks to me like we are probably no, that's not, that won't be right. That's not right. See, you all got me doing this on the fly. I tell you, Apple looks pretty bullish to me. And usually, Apple will run with, it'll run with the market, but this one doesn't look like it's wanting to. So if we did that, and we come down to here, and then we do our fibs. Let's do a fib, see what it would look like from here. Yeah, that put us right there too. That put us right on it. So that fib actually is a strong fib. And we've got this bounce right here. And if this was a 2-leg, that would put us down to right here. But I don't see that happening. That just doesn't, to me, doesn't look like a good one there. I'd be more inclined for more bullish on the Apple. Just based off of this chart. Yeah, I think I would. I think I'd be more bullish on it. So if we did that one, which really don't make sense because it usually follows the market. If we put that one there. And if we did this one just to get an idea of where it is. Yeah, that puts us right there. So that would put us in this range here. Now this is long term, guys. This isn't, you know, I mean, you got to think this is let's see, from here was March to, there's 6 months. This is 6 months worth of climbing, okay? So let's do this here. If we raise this up to there, and let's bring this one to right there. Actually, let's see if we do it there, what would it look like? Yeah, that'll work. So if we do that one, that's going to put us up to the 2, okay? So that's going to be, I got 0 and then we got a 1 and a 2. So that's going to put us about right there. That's a long-term play though, if it's in fact accurate. We won't know for sure until the market moves next week. So this one right here, as far as long-term, more than likely that's probably right. But I would not put my money on that until we see what happens in the next couple of days. This should continue on right on up. So let's open this up to a 1 hour. And let's do a trend. Let's see here. That wouldn't be that one. Oops, that's not the right one. That's not real solid, but that's kind of the trend that's going right now. You can see we picked up that one, almost that one. So if I pulled up there, that's not a real solid trend or a channel. Not sold on that one. But yeah, this right here, this is kind of a lot of chop in here. Apple's kind of hard to read right now. I think before I would do anything with Apple, I would need a few days to watch that to see what's going to happen. That's just not a play for me. But look at a 2 hour chart. And then if I go to a daily, I like dailies best. I mean, it's running pretty good with that, but I'm just not sold on it. This could easily pull down and drop right out. There's a chance, and what concerns me is what I think about the market. This thing would usually follow the market, and we sold off today, and that's going to put us right there. That's a play, I think, right there, because that puts us right down to there. So there's our play, and we've got earnings coming up right there. So if this thing sells off to then earnings comes out, then that will just be the catalyst to really move it. So I'm going to take this play here out. I don't believe that one. And then we're going to take this out because I don't believe that's it either. That's a long ways off. I believe that that's our play. And if you look over here, you can see that was at the top before. There's some gaps in here. See, these were filled. That was filled. So all these gaps have been filled. If you don't understand gap plays, then that's something to know about. I think I have that in my charting course. If I'm not, I'll put that in this weekend. I'm pretty sure I do, though. The gaps are very important because they will fill. This one right here has actually not filled right there. So there is a gap right here that has not filled that is going to have to be filled. Right there. So with that gap not being filled, let me get it closer for you so you can see it. You see that wick right there? And you got a wick down here. There's a gap right here that never did fill. Never saw that. So when you're charting, you need to find those gaps. That will tell you that this candle is going to come down to at least right here. And if it's coming to there, that would be part of our two leg, which would put us to here. It coincidentally is right where we topped out back in February. So before the market actually crashed. So that actually makes sense to me that we would do that. We have the election and everything coming up. We always have. September is usually a bad month anyway. So it's actually done exactly according to what it normally does. The charts don't lie about it. So this would be my play, I believe. I believe it would be puts down to here. You got any others, Lewis? You're an Amazon boy. Let's do an Amazon. You love at Amazon. Get back up here, and where'd it go? I thought I put it in there. Oh no, wait, it's at the bottom. There it is. So we do Amazon, and you want Amazon? I'll go ahead and do it anyway because I trade it too. So let's do a channel here, and it's pretty much. I mean, the channels are all pretty much the same because of that drop that we had. And bring this down. We're going to bring this down to right there. Okay, so we're picking up that one, this one, and this one. This actually shot through it, which is okay. You can see there, but you can look at the candles right here hit that channel. Okay, so to me that's our correct channel. All right, let's see. We'll go come down just a little bit there. There we go. And then we need to do some fibs to find out where we're going with everything. So if we do some fibs, we come right off the top up here. And let's just come right on down to here. Okay. So this is telling me, you can see these fibs were working pretty good. Blew right through that one, come right through here. This is bouncing off from it. We actually have a little bit of a head and shoulders there. So if we come down to say here, there, 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 there. Alright, so let me move this one over a little bit. There we go. So we've got a head and shoulder play in here on Apple. Okay, so we had the big up, come down, we had the big up. And if we look at this now, we can see everything has the same play pretty much. Which makes sense because that's usually what happens. And that's going to put us around the 50% retracement, which is a very strong area. See, actually, not that one. So we're going to mark this one rolling through here. Okay. So probably rolling through there. I think that's where we'll be. And see how it didn't take long to figure out what Apple or Amazon's doing. We just have to hit a few buttons, kind of look at the trends. Once we start kind of drawing some things in, we can start seeing it. Head and shoulder play is one of the main plays right now. So, when you're looking at something, always be looking for a head and shoulder. And a head and shoulder means it's going to sell off. So this could easily just sell off right there, or it could come over a little more and then sell off over here. I would say more than likely we're probably going to be right in that area right there, because it will usually stay in the same trend as that one. They'll usually do it. Not always, but they usually do. It may consolidate over here and then drop out. It may, it's hard to say for sure what it'll do, but in my best educated charting opinion, this is where we're going to be. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens, and then go from there. So anything else? I'm going to call it a night if I don't have something. Give you a few seconds here. I know Tesla is one of the main ones. Apple is. Amazon is. There's a bunch of others here. I'm not going to chart all those out. Microsoft is in that same play. I think I've got it charted out. Well, I did. But Microsoft's in the same thing. You can even see the pattern right here. There's the left shoulder, head, the right shoulder, and drop. So it's the same play as what Amazon is. So if you look at this chart here, watch it real careful. I'm going to click over. See, it's the exact same chart. So once you find one chart, you can usually find that they're all about the same. Like all the NASDAQ stocks are usually about the same. All of the S&P 500 are the same. And the S&P and NASDAQ are pretty close to the same. I know like Amazon sold off bad today. You can see it right there. So, with Amazon or AMD selling off, then, this is not quite a head and shoulder pattern there. But if you could change it to like a 4 hour, you might find it in a 4 hour. Not really. Kinda. I'll show you here real quick. It's kinda, but not really. So it come down. So it's a little bit, but it's just more at a slant. And a head and shoulders don't have to be straight across. It can be at an angle. So I'm going to leave that up here just to see what does happen with it. Well, guys, I guess that's it. If you do not understand charting, you want to learn, my website, Spy Money LLC, I've got several courses, teach you how to trade options, scalp futures, how to do future options, also future contracts. Depending on what you're wanting to do. I don't have any on Forex. I have no intentions of making one for Forex because no one in our group does it. And Forex is a different breed. But those other courses do really well. And I also have on the YouTube channel here, there are some tips and tricks on how to do Thinkorswim. I'll show you a lot of tricks that I use on Thinkorswim, which is I don't have pulled up. But the trading view is really good for charting. Most people do not trade from the same platform that they chart with. And if you want to get into charting, this is the best one. TOS don't hold a candle to this. They do have a free version. You don't have to pay for it, and it would help out. I've got some good news on how to trade futures. Most people don't have a lot of money to put in an account to trade futures. And I know a way that you can have up to $150,000 put in an account and you can trade with it. And if you lose the money, it's not your money. And it teaches you how to trade it at the same time. So I'm going to be posting that on our Discord. I'll be making a video on that here this weekend. I've got everything set up to where you'll be able to trade like that. So guys, you guys have a good weekend. Appreciate y'all being here, and give me a thumbs up and a like there. And please like, share, and subscribe. Join our free Discord channel. You can join that and team up with good traders. Y'all have a great day.